Chapter 4. What happens when you die? Do you wonder what will happen to you when you die? My clinical findings suggest that life does continue after biological death. Hypnotized patients regress to former lives, find themselves just as alive immediately following the body's death as before. Memories, personality, perceptions, emotions, thinking continue without a break. Indeed, the immortality of the soul appears to be corroborated by past life regressions. Researchers in the clinical death or near-death experience have reported findings that are basically identical to those of my hypnotized regressed patients. Their material was derived from interviews of hundreds of people who had actually died and were later revived. Since 1975, with Dr. Raymond Moody's book Life After Life, the field of clinical and near-death experiences has grown rapidly, with significant agreement among researchers. The majority of my patients under hypnosis recalling previous incarnations related death experiences that were remarkably similar. It appears that death involves a smooth, natural transition to a spirit realm with no loss of consciousness. My patients noticed an immediate feeling of relief from the pains, discomforts, or fears they had been experiencing just before they left their bodies. Almost all reported a feeling of lifting up and floating. They could clearly see their bodies below and whatever was happening around them. Often they tried to reassure their families that they were fine and alive. With a wonderful sense of freedom, they continued to rise and were drawn to a bright white light. They were joined by loved ones who had already died, and often by a wise and comforting, highly evolved spirit or guide. They found themselves in perfect bodies. Any defect had been corrected. If they had been blind, they would see perfectly. If deaf, they now had sharp hearing. If their bodies were mangled in car accidents, they were whole and intact. Amazingly, their spirit bodies seemed just as real and solid as their physical bodies once had. If the regression continued, they reported experiences of rich, full existence in another world. At one point, with wise counselors, they reviewed the life they had and saw it all as though watching a film. People who have nearly drowned or narrowly escaped death often report a similar experience of having their whole life flash before their eyes. It was clear to them that the purpose of this review was to enable them to see where they passed key challenges and failed others. Spirit counselors pointed out what they still had to learn to make the necessary spiritual progress. The next incarnation was planned based on this knowledge. My patient files are filled with transcripts of regressions that illustrate the typical death experience. The following came from a 26-year-old male patient, Joe, who suffered from depression, chronic bronchitis, and a rather odd allergy. Whenever he drank milk or ate nuts, he immediately developed thick mucus in his throat, which greatly exacerbated his already persistent cough. Following instructions to regress to the event responsible for his allergies, he found himself as a young man living in Georgia in the 19th century. He described a frustrated and angry childhood during which he gave vent to pent-up rage by picking fights, which he easily won because of his hulking size. While still a teenager, he killed a man and ran away to join the Confederate Army. Further hypnotic suggestions to move directly to the event causing the allergies produced the following. I'm leaning against a tree and the drummer boy is pouring curdled milk into my beat-up cup. It has a hole in it, so I have to drink it as fast as I can before it all runs out. I'm eating the pecans from the ground. We haven't eaten regular food for weeks. I see a very muddy, slow-moving river next to these trees. The other men are lying in the sun or sitting under the trees eating pecans, and we are all dressed in tattered gray uniforms. I am very tired, and I'm thinking about deserting. My whole life I've always fought, but now I'm fighting people who are willing and able to fight back, and I'm afraid. I don't see many guns, and the ones I do see aren't loaded. No ammunition for weeks now. I realize that the knife I have is the only protection left, the only way I can fight back. I hear sounds of running feet and horses' hooves, now screams and bugles. We're being ambushed. We jump up and run, trying to get across the creek. My feet keep getting stuck in the rocks. They come up behind us, firing rifles at us, and we turn and fight, though most of us don't have guns. 2 soldiers jump on me and hold me under the water, bending my arms back until it hurts my shoulders. I raise my head up out of the water, and a young kid with a look of hate on his face starts hitting me with the butt of his rifle, calling me a river rat. I'm choking and swallowing water. Long pause. Now I have a floating feeling as though I'm rising out of my body, and at the same time I watch my body float down the creek along with other bodies of boys I know. I look around and see that they have also risen from their bodies. And I turn and see my grandfather bathed in golden light. He says, "Come on, boy, the war is over." Several other boys I know come too. People like my grandfather in our town. He says to them, "Come on, y'all, the war is over for you too." I feel a great sense of relief. I hear a piano and other voices too, one very, very clearly. The voice is like a spark, and I almost hear it, but not quite. I'm almost like a spark myself, and that's all there is. I can see the world clearly yet rapidly, as if everything is moving at a very fast speed. I pick out the things I did wrong. I'm being told of my mistakes, and I'm aware of them without feeling bad. I know I've got to overcome anger and hate and learn to be less selfish. I think I made an agreement with the voice in the golden light. Most of the death experiences recalled by my hypnotized patients were as uncomplicated and predictable as Joe's. However, occasionally others were quite different. Instead of a smooth transition from one world to the other, some remembered actually fleeing from the light in terror or turning away from their departed relatives in spirit or guides. Many were unaware of their deaths since they felt alive, and were totally confused and frightened, especially when they could not make any impact on their survivors. These individuals remained earthbound, tied to the physical plane, despite the fact that they had died. Some of these spirits actually seemed to merge with or possess living people. This process was clearly illustrated in the regression of a young female patient, Linda, who was being treated for a depression so severe that she was imminently suicidal. During the hypnotic work, she found herself as one of these displaced spirits, a depressed male. The transcript begins a few minutes before his death. I feel very depressed. I feel upset and angry and confused. It's about my wife. She's been unfaithful to me, crying. She's beautiful, and she's a very happy person, and I'm not. But she's able to make me feel good. It hurts that she's been unfaithful. I need her. I've been trying so hard to be what she wants, but she doesn't love me. Long pause. I see a river that's practically dry, and there's a bridge crossing it. Pause. Now I'm up on the bridge. I don't want to stay here anymore. It's just too painful. Anything would be better than this. There's nothing to keep me here anymore. Nothing compelling at all. I think I'm losing my mind. Pause. I climb up on the railing. I jump. I'm on the riverbed. Long pause. I feel very strange. My body feels very funny. I can stand up, and I can see my body on the stand. But I'm still here. Damn it, it's not fair. I'm so mad. It didn't work. It's not fair. I'm very frightened. There is a very bright light around me, very brilliant, and I hate it. I want to leave. I'm running down the riverbed away from my body. I'm running into bushes and trees because it's darker now, but something is not right. Something is not right. I don't understand it. I hit a tree and I go right through it. I'm frightened and confused. I don't like this at all. It's like being blind, groping around and hitting things. I'll just lie here for a while. During that same session, the man, now a spirit, went on to recall his attraction to and subsequent possession of a young girl. I feel so alone. I've been this way a long time. It's lonely and I'm afraid and angry. It feels like I've been here forever. I hear some people, they're having fun. They're on the beach playing. I go up to them, but they ignore me. Why can't they help me? Why won't they help me? I'm so miserable and they're so happy. It makes me angry. There's a beautiful young girl who's happy and lovely, but she won't even stop and look at me. She won't even notice me. Linda shakes her fists and then looks puzzled. I tried to hit her. I don't understand. I don't know what happened. It's like I'm with her now. I'm part of her somehow. It's much better now. I'm much warmer now. She's very happy and I still feel very sad, but I can feel what she feels. I like it when she feels good. But she's the one having all the fun, and that makes me angry too. Long pause. Now she doesn't have as much fun as she used to. It appears that all spirits eventually go into the light, even after remaining stuck on the physical plane for decades. With suicides, I've found that many remained as discarnates, feeling just as depressed as they did before their deaths, until they were rescued by spirit helpers or they possessed unsuspecting living people. However, others who killed themselves went immediately to the light. An interesting description of the journey to the light was given by a depressed patient who relived committing suicide in a former life. After her death, she lingered on the earth plane for a number of years. When she had recalled these experiences, I advanced her to the time the spirit found the light. It's a long time. I'm confused, wandering. I'm trying to raise my level of consciousness. I'm trying, but I can't. I see memories of the light, but I can't find it. The light flashes, but it's not here. It appears and disappears. I wander. I search. I know the light means something. When it comes, I feel better. I feel peace from above. I know I have to get nearer to it. I know I have to. I have to find it. I have to get that peace inside of me. It's coming. It's coming. Someone's helping me. Someone's guiding me. Someone's helping me find my peace, find myself, find my inner being, find my destiny, my fate. I'm joining the light. I'm coming into existence with the light, but the light's not the end. The light's the beginning. There's more to me than the light. There are spirits beyond the light. There are more spirits like me. I'm wandering into the light. Some spirits go easily, some spirits go by me fast. Some are having trouble keeping up with me. I'm trying to find out more about the light. What's on the other side? What is it that makes these people, these spirits go? Why? What is it? It feels good in here. The coldness is going. It's gone. There's heat. There's warmth. There's peace, but not total peace. There's more peace and happiness beyond the light. I can see that. I can feel that. I know it's there. Getting through is not easy, though. Someone is helping me. I stumble and fall. Oh, my guide is helping me. There are a lot of spirits. I communicate with all these spirits. There's a lot of happiness now. I feel happy. I feel better than I ever have. I feel joy. I don't feel alone anymore. I belong to something. The light's behind me. It's blue. It's crystal blue now. The light still glows behind me, but everything is blue. It's a unity. It's a beginning I never could know. It's a togetherness. It's a sharing. I don't know why they're all sharing with me, and I'm beginning to share with them. I'm leaving my pain. They're making me feel happy. They're giving me strength, eliminating my confusion, guiding me through their senses, their thoughts, their experience. Now it's over. It's over. From my patient's regressions, it appears that going into the light is a universal experience. The light itself is variously described as God, unconditional love, a beautiful light like the sun, and by most as indescribably beautiful and wonderful. A typical experience of it is, it's warm and I feel protected. It must be God. I feel forgiveness for everything I've done. Another frequent description is exemplified by the following. I'm not ready to go. No, I want to stay with my friend. My guide said it wouldn't be good for me. I need to bless him and move on. We left. The light is immense, just beautiful, and it's warm. All of a sudden, I feel real good. I feel real happy. My guide is laughing with me. I'm saying I need to go back to my friend. He's saying it's not possible, that I have things to do. Everything is okay. It doesn't matter what you did or said. It's okay. I feel so good. You've seen how beautiful the death experience is when the individual makes the transition to the light. Now it's time to examine the reasons that many resist that experience and remain in the physical world without bodies of their own, and in their ignorance condemn themselves to a miserable earthbound experience.